Have you ever looked at a map and wondered why some countries have such strange, wiggly borders? A lot of the time, the answer is mountains. For centuries, these colossal natural barriers have been the unsung heroes of national defense, silently protecting entire civilizations from invasion. But how exactly do they do it? Let's start with the most obvious point: logistics. Invading an army is a massive undertaking. You need to move thousands of soldiers, along with their food, water, weapons, and equipment. Now, imagine trying to do that over a mountain range. The terrain is brutal, roads are often narrow, winding, or non-existent. You can't just drive a column of tanks through a steep, rocky pass. Armies are forced into predictable choke points, like valleys and mountain passes, which are incredibly easy for a smaller defending force to fortify. Just a few well-placed soldiers can hold off a much larger army, making any advance incredibly slow and costly. Think about it like this: on a flat plain, an army can spread out, using its numbers to its advantage. But in the mountains, they're squeezed into a long, vulnerable line. This gives the defenders a massive tactical advantage. They can set up ambushes, trigger rock slides, and use their knowledge of the local terrain to strike and disappear. The invaders are constantly exposed, fighting not just the enemy, but the mountain itself. Then there's the weather. Mountain weather is notoriously unpredictable and harsh. What might be a pleasant day in the lowlands can be a raging blizzard at higher altitudes. Soldiers not accustomed to the cold, the thin air, and the sudden storms can suffer from frostbite, altitude sickness, and exhaustion before they even see an enemy. This attrition wears down an invading force, draining their morale and their resources. For the defenders, who are often natives of the region, these conditions are just a part of daily life. They know how to survive and even use the weather to their advantage. History is filled with examples of this. Take Switzerland. It's a small country surrounded by powerful neighbors, yet it has maintained its neutrality and independence for centuries. Why? The Alps. Any potential invader would have to face the daunting task of conquering a natural fortress, defended by a well-prepared populace. The Swiss have literally built their national defense strategy around their mountains, with hidden bunkers, fortified passes, and a military trained for alpine warfare. Another classic example is Afghanistan, often called the graveyard of empires, from Alexander the Great to the Soviet Union. Powerful armies have struggled to gain control of this rugged, mountainous land. The challenging terrain of the Hindu Kush Mountains allowed local fighters to wage effective guerrilla warfare, bogging down technologically superior forces and ultimately forcing them to withdraw. The mountains provided cover, concealment, and a natural advantage that no amount of firepower could easily overcome. Of course, in the modern age of air power and long-range missiles, you might think mountains aren't as important, and it's true. Their role has changed. An airplane can fly over a mountain range in minutes, but they still present significant challenges. They can interfere with radar and communications, providing shadows where ground forces can hide. Landing troops and supplies by air in mountainous terrain is also extremely risky, and even if an army manages to airdrop soldiers behind enemy lines, those soldiers are still isolated and have to contend with the same logistical nightmares once they lay on the ground. So, while technology has evolved, the fundamental power of mountains remains. They are more than just geographical features. They are strategic assets that have shaped borders, decided the fate of empires, and protected cultures for thousands of years. They force invaders to fight on the defender's terms, turning a contest of numbers into a battle of endurance, strategy, and will. The next time you see a jagged mountain range on a map, remember, you are not just looking at a pretty landscape, you are looking at one of history's greatest fortresses. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content on how geography shapes our world. See you next time.